Hey, what's up, everybody? We are live on Senior Portrait Secrets Live. This is the October 24th edition. That's the date, right? Yeah, October 24th, 2017 edition of Senior Portrait Secrets Live. And I'm super excited for the show today. We got Shane Hunter's awesome continuation of his off-camera flash extravaganza. I don't know what you're calling it. I don't know. How you doing, Shane?
I'm good. I don't know if it's extravaganza. It's not as fun as an extravaganza should be. So we'll work up to that, though. I think it'll be good.
Cool. I actually photographed a wedding last Sunday, and it was like the title of their wedding was like this long, printed out on paper. It was like blah 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 and blah blah blah. It was a wedding extravagant. I don't know, something adventure, fairy tale land or something like that. I don't know, but it was a fun wedding.
If you do that though. If you're a wedding couple, if you're ever going to be your bride and groom, and you make a sign that says extravagant Wonderland, fairy tale, whatever, you're setting the bar pretty high, and you have to deliver that. So
yeah, that's true. They had a killer hashtag though, so
yeah,
I won't say so you guys don't look it up and give them some privacy on that. But well, another side note. I'm in my building's connected to an event space, and sometimes they do weddings. And like the lobby to my building, they always have signs for weddings that are coming up on that weekend. And every single time, there's just like some hashtag that is just like the dorkiest thing possible. I don't know. I don't know, but it's fun, I guess. It's all in good fun.
If you choose the dorkiest hashtag possible, chances are it hasn't been taken yet. So I guess maybe there's the one.
There's some logic behind that one. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Tell us about so pre-show, we were talking about your off-camera flash thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
That's there.
Tell us a little bit about that. What's the reason for them to go like right now and go there?
To leave this show to go there would be a good idea. You should totally do that. It is a short version of some of the lighting stuff I've been talking about. And what it does, it just packs into about 7 minutes, a very simple step-by-step purchasing plan that you can make $200 that you can go from just your camera to off-camera flash in just a few dollars, and you're there. So we give you exactly the links that you need under the YouTube video. Tells you exactly what the product is, whether you shoot Sony or Canon or Nikon or whatever you shoot. So you should definitely check that out. We'll put a link somewhere that you'll be easy to find. But basically, just search for Senior Portrait Secrets Live, and you'll see our video on the channel there. So yeah, it's really good. I think y'all will really enjoy it, especially if you're just getting started in off-camera flash.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Like me, I've never touched a light before, so I'll know what to do.
Yeah, that's good. I really had you in mind, Josh. No, that's not true.
You made it as basically my 3-year-old could watch this YouTube video.
I did.
Okay.
I don't have to try. That's how my videos come out, because I only know 1- and 2-syllable words, except for the word syllable. Ironically, a 3-syllable word.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get on with the show. So hey, after the show, go check out Shane's off-camera flash video only on YouTube. You cannot get it on Facebook, only on YouTube. It is a awesome off-camera flash on the cheap, basically. And if you've never messed with off-camera flash, scared of it, or just want to get a good refresher, go check it out. Buy all the cool stuff on there, because there's some good stuff on Amazon that's cheap that works.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, please.
So we got off-camera flash on YouTube, but this week we are going to go ahead and get our show together. It's just, oh man, Shane, you're cracking me up here. Okay, so we got our show. You are doing a continuation of your lighting series. I won't call it an extravaganza. Also, real quick, I have to apologize. It's really windy outside, and there's a sign outside my window. So if you hear this, if it sounds like I'm about to get hit by a tornado or something, it's not that. It's just the wind. Anyways, Shane, I'm going to hit it to you and let you just take over this show and talk about lights.
Yeah, we're going to leave the set of Wizard of Oz because it sounds like Josh is about to be blown away to not Kansas or Oklahoma. So yeah, so we'll continue.
Just blown away by your lighting.
Oh wow, that was, man. Today's gonna be the worst show ever. Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna wrap up this topic. I'll probably talk about lighting more, but as far as this presentation goes, this is the last thing I have on it. So here we go. So what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to revisit something we talked about, I guess, in the first or second episode of the series, which was talking about ambient light and shutter speed, and kind of go a little deeper there. So if you remember, this slide is a blast from the past. The more you control ambient light, the better results you're going to have when talking about off-camera flash. So whether your quote unquote look or the look you're going for is to have a darker background and a brighter subject, or if you just want it more balanced and even, you have to, especially on sunnier days, you have to have a plan. So to understand shutter speed, sync speed, it's essential to have a good knowledge of what this means and how you manipulate it in order to manipulate your scene. So shutter speed, usually the sync speed between the flash and the camera coming out of the camera coming out of the box is I just learned I'm a Nikon shooter. I just learned that a lot of Canons are actually 160th of a second, but the range is usually somewhere between 160th, 1/200th of a second to 1/250th. And basically the sync speed is the amount of time the flash has to fire between the opening and closing of the shutter curtains. So the shutter curtains, basically you have curtain one. As it opens, the sensor is exposed to the scene, the light that's coming into the lens, and then the shutter closes in that amount of time between whatever the sync speed is, 1/200th of a second, 1/160th of a second, whatever your camera does. I also want to talk about flash duration. Flash duration is the amount of time from the beginning to end of the flash. So flash duration and shutter speed is very, very similar from talking about what your camera, how your camera performs and how your flash performs. So the shutter speed determines how much time your sensor is exposed to the light that's coming into your lens. The flash duration is actually how long your subject is being illuminated by that flash. So if your ambient light is completely under control, and it's completely even just dark, then the only thing that's affecting your subject is the flash. So you have curtain one opens, before curtain two closes, your flash happens. Now, if your sync speed is, let's just go ahead and say that your shutter speed is set at 1/200th. It's always going to be different, but we'll just say 1/200th of a second for now. That means that the amount of time that your sensor is being exposed to whatever is outside the lens is 1/200th of a second, which is really, really short. But your flash duration is almost always shorter than your shutter speed, than the time that your shutter curtains are open. So let's say your flash duration is 1/1250th of a second. Well, that's like, I'm not good at math, Josh, but I'm guessing that's like 5 or almost 6 times as much as fast as 1/200th of a second. So what you have is your flash is actually happening way faster than your shutter is being opened, and that's why it makes no difference how fast or slow your shutter is, only as far as your subject is concerned. So if you're shooting a senior, then your flash duration is actually going to be the thing that determines the exposure on the senior. The shutter speed has no bearing on that whatsoever. So we'll go back to my jacked up, horrible animation of a shutter speed. Josh really likes this, but Josh, don't listen to him. Your curtain is closed here, the rectangle in the middle with the 4 lines. And if we activate that, it opens. So it's for however long that's open, your flash duration is usually going to be shorter than that. So whether you are shooting at sunset or in bright sunlight, just remember that as long as you have that ambient light under control, and as long as you have it, your subject, the senior that you're shooting, is not being affected by the ambient light as much as it is by the flash, then your flash duration is really all you have to worry about. The shutter speed is actually what you're going to use to brighten or darken the background. So the faster the shutter speed, the darker the background or your ambient light is going to be, and vice versa. So here are some things that you can do to control the background, the shutter speed, the sync speed, of course. You can also get filters that they're just little circular discs that screw onto the front of your lens. If you notice, the front of your lens has little threads on it where you can screw on filters and attach those. Neutral density filter, circular polarizer, those are going to darken the ambient. Those are going to lower the ambient light. And so those are going to be very useful as far as controlling the scene there. So that will do wonders for controlling the ambient there. So another thing you can do is find shade. If you're in bright sunlight and you can't get, you don't have filters, or 1/200th of a second is as much as you can go before your flash and your camera aren't going to sync together. So find a tree with like a very dense shade, a building, even using reflectors. Instead of reflecting light, you're using them to shade your subject. And scrims are another good thing. If you don't want to completely block off the light, a scrim will just diffuse that light and knock it down a stop or two as far as your aperture setting goes. So those are some things you can do, and then bring in flash. And then why bring in flash? Well, you're going to bring in flash by creating, you're going to create depth. So you're looking for highlights, midtones, and shadows. I'm going to show you a picture here that I shot about 1.5 years ago. These are a couple of sisters. It was one of my senior models and her little sister. And if you look at this picture, we have kind of a darker background. That was just a tree in the background. I have the sun behind them, and then so all of the light that you see on their faces is created by my flash. The flash was at camera left to their right. So and it was just one light setup. I didn't have a hair light or rim light on this one. It was basically a beauty dish with a sock on it. Camera left, there's my camera settings right there. It doesn't really matter because camera settings are good for that day and that light. So, but that, if you're wondering, that's what the lens I used was the 70-200, and I was zoomed all the way into 200 millimeters on this shot. So, so what we're looking at on this picture is you want to look at the highlights, midtones, and shadows. So, hopefully you can see, I don't know how good the resolution is on our live broadcast here, but I've got an arrow or a line drawn from the word highlights to Brianna as the blonde on the right, and on her cheek, right under her eye, you can see a nice little highlight there. It's one of the brighter parts of her face, that along with her forehead, her chin, her nose. But just to show you the transition, got a highlight there on her cheek. Then you see the mid-tone right there below that highlight, just closer to her hair on the cheek. And then if you look there at her jawline, the shadow that's created by the light, you just have a nice soft gradient. That beauty dish with the sock on it creates a nice soft lighting that it's soft. It's soft enough to give you a nice gradient from highlights to shadows, and it's not too harsh where it's just going to create really unpleasant shadows for a portrait of a girl. So that's that. And then I'll show you one more example. As far as mixing light modifiers, this is a 2-light setup. This is for a fitness shoot I did last year. And what I did with this is I used 2 different qualities of light in my 2-light setup. So behind her, I had a harsh light. I had a 7-inch reflector on Alien B strobe. And so you can see on her hair, her shoulder there, the hair light, rim light, kicker. You have a harsher light. In front of her, I still kind of wanted soft light because for fitness shoots, you want to show muscle tone and you want to show kind of an edge to the picture, or at least that's what I wanted for this. She wanted it to look a little more edgy. So I went with, oh, sorry, here's my awesome graphics I forgot to show off. Soft light. It's ice light. It's actually a constant light source. This was not a flash, but I did have an ice light on a light stand, camera right to her. It was more of the key light. Hey, there we go. So that's key light, Josh. That's what that says. So we had the key light right there shining down on her. So I was able to get the balance there between the key light and the kicker. And it's a little softer because on her face, I didn't want a real super harsh light. So you do notice the shadow beside her nose there. It isn't exactly soft, but it's a lot softer than it would be with I could have put my other Alien B there with another 7-inch reflector and gotten a similar result. It would have just been a little harsher and maybe not quite as pleasant as far as what I was going for. So that's an example of how you don't have to have all soft light or all harsh light. Maybe you want a harsher light behind and a softer one, or you may switch it up. That's the beauty of off-camera flash, is that you can do whatever you want. You control everything as far as lighting goes. The only thing that you're hampered by, the only thing that you're limited by is if your sync speed is a limit for you. If you don't have high-speed sync or lights powerful enough to take advantage of high-speed sync, then you would need you'd need some workarounds there. But that's some things we can talk about in the future. But that is it, Josh. That's our lighting class for today, and hopefully that was useful to somebody out there.
Oh no, this has been a really good series. So we have a question. What's the term dragging the shutter when it comes to off-camera flash?
Dragging the shutter basically is when you exactly what I was talking about with having the shutter speed longer than the flash duration, which is almost always is. So if you drag the shutter, let's say that you're shooting action and you want to show that motion. So you're shooting a football player and you want dramatic lighting on him, but you want that blur, that trail of blur behind him, for example. What you would do is set everything up so that your camera is shooting the ambient light the way you want it, and your flash is exposing your subject the way you want it. What you would want to do is first you want to set your camera. It's called rear curtain. To where the flash is going to fire toward the end of the shutter speed, or the shutter being open instead of at the beginning where it normally would. If you shoot at the beginning, the blur is actually going to be in front of your football player instead of behind him. So if you go to rear curtain sync, then what's going to happen is you can slow your shutter down. You're going to get that motion blur that normally you don't want. But in this situation, you want that motion blur behind your football player, and as your camera is blurring that light that's created by ambient, you're at the very end, your flash is going to pop, and it's going to freeze him ahead of the blur. So if that makes sense, you can also do this with with falling rain, so if you want to show the motion of falling rain behind somebody, if you do like a rain shoot, but you want the person to be in sharp focus, you backlight the rain, you get a nice rim light on your subject, have a key light on your person, and then the rain's going to have a little streak. You do the same thing. You'd want the rear curtain sync as well. So that hopefully that answers the question. Any other questions that y'all have about that, please feel free to ask in the comments or here on Facebook Live or on YouTube when we post this.
Sorry, I had to mute myself there. That wind is killer. So
yeah,
Oklahoma's just crazy today with the wind. So yep. Anyways, awesome, Shane. Thanks so much. That's always good information every week. I know people are enjoying it. Some people were asking about the off-camera flash on the cheap on Facebook, so I went ahead and posted the link on Facebook where they can go and watch that too. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, there's some extra stuff that we're putting on there, and you can only watch it on YouTube, so you got to go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel, and we're going to be posting some stuff up every week or so with new content. So anyways, Shane, so you got off-camera flash, we got model team training up there too. You got anything else coming up in the works that you want to tease about?
I do. I'm not quite ready to tease on it yet, but I have a couple of things that I haven't decided. I've got two different things I want to do. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do first. So I know as soon as I say one, then it'll fall through and I can't do it. I have to do the other one. And then I'm a big liar. So I can't do that.
Awesome. So anyways, look forward to Shane's content coming up. I know he's a diligent person and puts his stuff together, and it's always turns out really good. So right now there is if you are interested in running a senior model team, there's information up there where you can learn the programs that we use to run our senior model program, totally free. It's about is it 4 or 5 videos? I can't remember. I think it's 4 videos, 4-part video series. And just go through, watch everything. Total time, I want to say it's about an hour long to watch everything. And you can only get that on YouTube too. So anyways, the link to subscribe to the channel is in the Facebook comments. And that is it for this week. You got anything else you want to hit up, Shane?
No, that's it. I'm looking forward to seeing the model team stuff because I need to brush up on that anyway. So that's awesome. I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this week. And thanks again for watching. And don't forget, go to YouTube and hit subscribe. See you guys. Bye-bye.